Hello, this is episode 9 of my 8-foot tall Thanos costume build. In the previous 8 episodes I was making all of the armour, so we're at the stage now where it's all built and painted and ready to be made into a wearable costume. So in this episode I'm going to be adding some straps, Velcro and making some very big stilts. So before we get started with that, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the little notification bell and give this video a thumbs up too. Now we can get cracking. So the stilts I've drawn around the bottoms of the shoes using the template on 18mm ply, and I'm using these 110mm diameter waste pipes. These are PVC pipes to stand on. Now the back of these are 8 inches tall, the front of the small one is 3 inches tall, and then the bit in the middle where they join together we can see these holes, that's 5.5 inches tall, and I've drilled 2 holes into each of these and I'm going to attach those together with some bolts, making sure that I use washers, and also the nuts on these are locking nuts, not the standard nuts. They're the ones with the plastic inside the thread so that they don't undo themselves. Now these are a bit of a pain to get into to do these up. A couple of spanners or ratchets or something would be a lot better than a pair of pliers and some grips, but I managed. Now using the same plastic, I heated it with a heat gun and made some little L-shaped brackets, and these are going to hold the bit that you stand on to the sole of the shoe. So I'm just drilling some pilot holes into this first with a small drill bit and then line these up, and using that pilot hole as a guide, drilling through into the plastic bits you stand on. And I'm going to change out this drill bit for one that matches the size of the bolts, make those holes bigger, and then bolt those to the pipes. Make sure they're nice and tight. Now drilling down into the sole of the shoe, making sure I go all the way through, keeping it nice and straight, making that hole big enough now for the bolt. Now the problem we're going to have is if I put a bolt through the bottom of this, it's not going to sit flat because the head of the bolt is protruding from the bottom of the piece of wood. So I'm going to need to take a flat drill bit, one that's the same diameter as the washers I'm using, and then use that just to bore out enough wood so the head of that bolt will sit underneath the surface of the piece of wood there, so it doesn't stick out and make me slip over. So doing this creates a lot of mess, so I'd recommend not doing it in your living room like I'm doing. Put the washer in there with a bolt, and then I'm going to check, see if that's flush. It doesn't look like it is, so drill out a little bit more wood. You obviously want to keep as much in there as you can. Wait, see if that's flat, hold it down on the table, and if you can feel it's not sitting flat, then you need to drill out some more. But that seems to have done the job. Now we're going to bolt that down. Again, if you've got a decent socket set, you'll be able to do this a lot quicker than using some pliers and things. So I made some more of these L-shaped brackets. There's 6 in total, and they go on just like this, and that is now good and sturdy. So on to the next bit. The shoe is going to go on this rectangular piece here, but to stop that from sliding about, I've made these two pieces, again just using a heat gun to bend some plastic. And I'm going to screw that bracket into the side. This plastic I'm using is exactly the same stuff. I just heated a piece of the pipe in an oven and then laid it flat and squished it between some wood to make a sheet of it, and then just cut that into shape to make all these brackets and things. So these thinner pipes here, they're 40mm diameter, they're going to be the parts that run up my calves to stop me from being able to twist my ankle. Just drilling a hole all the way through that with a small drill bit to start off with. And then made that bigger to fit those bolts. And this is on the other end now. This would be where just below my knee goes, and I'm marking on here where to make a slit just wide enough to fit a 50mm bit of Velcro through. Just drilling the top and the bottom of that slit, then just need to cut out the gap between those two drill holes. So you need two of these, one for either side, and then your calf goes in between these, Velcro at the top to hold them on. Make sure you use washers, and you want it tight enough to hold them on, but not so tight that they don't move, because then you'll lose any ankle flexibility. Alright, so that rectangular piece just slides in there, and then the shoe, going to position that, drill some holes through the shoe, through that black plastic bracket and into the wood. These are just small pilot holes, and then I'm using washers and screws to go through those holes. So it goes through the shoe, through the black plastic bracket and into the wood. So that'll hold the shoe down, that'll hold the bit of wood into the bracket. Now I don't think they'll hold strong enough, so I'm going to put a strap over the front of this just to stop the toes lifting up. So this is a piece of 50mm nylon webbing, and I'm going to put a piece over here as well, just so that shoe can't fall off of the front of that if those screws were to come out the back. So these are just going to be screwed in with screws and washers. So there you have it, one stilt. You obviously got to do this twice, one for the other foot. So there are the screws inside there holding the back of the shoe on. I cut the tongues out of these shoes as well to make them easy to slip on. That's the screw there holding in the webbing. That stops the toe from lifting up or sliding off the front of the shoe if those screws were to give way. So this distance at the back here again, 8 inches tall. Distance at the front here, 3 inches tall. And then in the middle is obviously halfway between that, 5.5 inches tall. The long supports that go up your calves here, well for me at least, they're 26 inches total length. But you'd have to change that obviously, depending on how long your legs are. You don't want them to go above your knees. So this bolt here holding these on is in line with your own ankle. Otherwise it won't allow for much freedom of that joint to move. So putting these on now, they just go on like a pair of regular shoes. There's no laces in these. If there were, you wouldn't be able to do them up with the leg armour on. And this is just simply a piece of Velcro to attach them to your calf. And as you can see there, I've got ankle movement. That's because the the bolt that runs through holding those uprights on there up the calf is in line with my own ankle. And there you go, walking in these is actually really comfortable. I'd imagine it's similar to wearing ladies' high heel shoes and positioning my foot there. Movement is easy. I could reach the floor if I wanted to. Walking is really natural because I've got movement of my ankle there. I don't have to walk flat footed. And these are really strong. I weigh about 100 kilograms and they hold me up really easily. Right, onto the strapping system for the rest of the suit. So the torso. And what you can see here is some parts of some overalls that I've put inside this. That's just to hide the fact that you should be able to see my arm otherwise. Now this is a 50mm buckle in here. So you slide the arm up and you attach that to a 50mm buckle that's attached to the frame that goes inside. And I've cut a slit in this piece of overall here. This is actually a trouser leg, not an arm, because the arms are too small. And that's just to keep that from conforming to my arm, which is obviously a lot slimmer than Thanos' arms, and that kind of pulls that out to the edges of the armour where the buckles are. These are smaller buckles, these are 25mm, and that's with 25mm webbing as well. So I've got these on the inside and the outside of the arms. And they just go through two little slits there on that trouser leg from a pair of overalls. Now these straps I've made as long as I can, so if they were to come unglued by an inch or so at the top, they've still got lots of inches left to keep them on and my arms aren't going to fall off. Now this handle here is for me to be able to grab hold of so I can move the arms, and that's just held on by running a piece of Velcro through it and then sticking the sticky side, the furry side of the Velcro onto the inside of the forearm there, and I use 3 pieces. So this is the top end of the trouser leg, which I've just Velcroed into the armhole there, and this is the 50mm buckle that holds the upper arm on. So there's 4 bits of Velcro to hold this trouser leg on. One at the front here, one at the back, one at the bottom, and you guessed it, one at the top as well. The one at the top slightly longer because it wraps around the framework that goes inside. These are just glued in, making sure I glue onto the furry side so it wouldn't stick very well to the back of the Velcro. There's the Velcro strips inside the suit. I made them bigger than they needed to be so they stay on better, and so there's a little bit of room for adjusting it. And this is the framework that you can see on the inside. That's held in on the front and on the back with Velcro, as you can see here on the bottom of it, that's Velcro, and on the back there as well. 2 pieces on the front, 2 pieces on the back, and that comes out just like this. This is the back. This is the chest. This is obviously a lot easier to do if you're not holding a camera in your other hand. So I've had to put some rectangle bits of foam in there, as you can see, just to give that a shelf to lean on. And this is the framework. It's just some PVC pipe and various fittings, some 90-degree ones and some T-section ones. Now what size is this overall? Well, from here to here, this overall length, not from the inside there, but the overall length is 27 inches. From corner to corner here is 16 inches. and then from here all the way up to the other corner is 10 inches, and then from corner to corner is 8 inches. Now this strap here is just to keep those from moving about. That keeps those at the right angle I want them. But it's all very strong. These aren't glued together or anything, and it's never fallen apart on me. These are just push fitment. You can glue them if you want to. Now there's some Velcro under here as well, and that's to hold his loincloth type thing, which is this. As you can see on the corners at the top, there's some Velcro as well. Now this is stuck to another piece of that overall fabric that I cut off the back of the overalls. And there's the Velcro. And that goes on like this. So it's nice and flexible still, because there's a separation between the foam pieces, so it doesn't get in the way when you walk or try and sit down or anything. Now this is essentially a suspender belt made with 50mm webbing for the main belt, and then 25mm webbing for the bits that run down your legs that hold, well, it would be your tights, but in this case it's your thighs up. So that's a very long bit of strapping there, for reasons that I gave earlier, so it doesn't, if it breaks off at the top end, it's still got lots of length glued on so it doesn't fall off. And there's a couple of bits of Velcro where the knee goes, and there's also Velcro at the top end of the calf here with a strip on of the other side of Velcro. That's just so you can attach the two pieces. There's a very big piece of Velcro in there to hold that little thin strip on. That's so there's a bit of room for adjusting it up and down, left or right, depending on the length of your leg inside, and that gives the desired leg movement. Now to attach it to the stilt, there's nothing to attach it, just slides on and off, so that's really easy. And to cover the gap in the ankle, that's actually a sleeve from the pair of overalls. I used 2 pairs of overalls overall. It's just a piece of Velcro at the top there. And the shoe armour is held onto that wooden base part of the stilt there with Velcro. I'm using a metal ruler here to get it off because it's very hard, it's a really tight fit. There's only a tiny bit of Velcro at the very front where the toes are, and a tiny bit of Velcro at the very back of the heel. If there's Velcro all the way around, it would be almost impossible to get on and take off. These bits of Velcro are just glued on. So that piece of sleeve there is just Velcroed in with 4 pieces of Velcro in the same way as the bit that goes in the armholes on the torso go. And this, I say it's a bit of sleeve, it's the top part of the sleeve because it's wider than the forearm part, for example. So that's the top part of the sleeve, like the shoulder part of the overalls I used, and they were really large overalls as well. And done. I don't just mean this video, I mean everything. We've got the armour, I painted it all. We now have it all strapped together, got some really sturdy and comfortable stilts, and that's it. That's all there is to it, really. Finished. Huh. Cool. So that's it. I guess the next video, episode 10, will be the final one. That'll be me suiting up and looking awesome, I hope. So make sure you subscribe to this channel to keep an eye out for that. Also be sure to check out the social media links in the description of this video, and head over to my Patreon page to check out the exclusive rewards for patrons only, including all of these videos early. So yeah, finished. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Oh, and remember, you don't have to be great at making to make something great. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.